Hey y'all, today we're going to be making some cold process soap from scratch. Let's show how we got started. So don't mind the mess, but this is my box of soap making supplies and just a little bit of odds and ends. Some of the things we're going to be using today is shea butter, rose colon clay, extra virgin olive oil, and coconut oil. I've already got my oils here in the pot mixed up and melted. They're right about 85 degrees right now. We want to get the oils up to 100 degrees. And over here in our ice bath, we have our frozen goat's milk that I'm slowly mixing a few spoonfuls of lye in at a time. You want this to melt slowly, that way the lye doesn't burn the frozen milk. It'll make it a funky color and gives it kind of a weird smell. You don't want it to get hotter than 65 degrees. And we just have our lye and some extra frozen milk, because I'm probably going to make a couple batches today. And this process takes the longest, because we started out with 6.6 ounces of lye to 12 ounces of frozen goat's milk from the milk here on my farm. And we just have to slowly wait till this is all dissolved, melted, and the right temperature. Here I've got some of the additives I'm going to be using. Some peach puree from the Palisade peaches that we got this year, along with some lavender essential oil and some ambrosia fragrance oil. Probably also going to decorate the top with just some dried lavender just to make it look pretty. And one of the best things you can have when soap making is a digital scale. This is kind of scientific. You want your measurements to be precise. So our oils are right almost to 100 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and pull this off the heat, and still waiting on the lye to finish dissolving, so hold tight. Alright, our oil is to temperature, our lye is dissolved and to temperature, so we're going to go ahead and add the lye milk mixture to the pot of oils. Just pour that all in. And then we're going to come in with our immersion blender, and we're just going to slowly mix this all together. Alternate between the blender and then just kind of stirring it, because you don't want it to come to trace too quickly. You just want to get everything worked in real nice. And we're going to be looking for a thin trace, which you can tell this is pretty much just liquid still. We want the consistency of a thin pudding. Just keep mixing. We're getting there. You can kind of see how it comes off the blender just a little bit thicker. Almost. Almost there, guys. Okay, we're at a thin trace, so we're going to go ahead and add in our extras, the peach puree, the lavender oil, and the ambrosia fragrance oil. Don't go too crazy with the fragrance, just because right now it's going to have a chemically type smell because of the lye, and you don't want it to be too overpowering. Just kind of mix that in. And I needed both hands just for a second to get my clay open. We're not going to do too much, just enough for all those good properties to be incorporated into the soap, and then mix again. And right now we don't want to make it trace too much thicker because we still want to add colors, and we want it to be thin enough to pour into our molds to make a nice color swirl. The more you blend, the thicker it's going to get, and then we're going to reach more of a medium trace, so a thicker type pudding. See how much thicker it is now? It doesn't quite run off the spoon. It's kind of that puddingy like texture. All right, perfect. Okay, we've got a few different cups of the soap measured out. Now we're just going to color them with some mica. Now we're just going to mix in our colors real quick. Again, we don't want it to trace a whole lot thicker because then it's not going to pour very well. So just try to mix that in real good without blending too much. Just want it nice and smooth, not lumpy, and to the color that we want. Kind of hard to do with one hand. It's a really nice color. Try to tap that off. And the last one. Alright, let's get ready to pour. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and start getting this into the mold. We're going to go in with just the base color and try to do this in a way where you can see what I'm doing. Now we're going to drizzle in our other colors. And this actually sat a little too long, so it traced a bit thicker than what I like, but it's going to be okay. We're just going to alternate our colors to get a nice pretty swirl in the end. Just going to tap this down. and just a little bit more of our base color. If you have soap left over, make sure and have an extra mold handy. That way it doesn't go to waste. Okay. I'm going to tap it down one more time. And then we're just going to take a straw and go through and swirl. Again, if it was at a thinner trace, this would be a lot easier, but it's okay. It's going to turn out beautiful no matter what. Okay, set that to the side. Tap it down. You don't want any air bubbles in your mold. And then I'm going to take a little strip of bubble wrap and just press it into the top for a little bit of a pretty design. Bubble side down, of course. Make that nice and smooth. And then I've got some lavender, dried lavender from the garden that we're going to sprinkle on this other side. It's all for presentation. Make it look pretty. Try to get that on evenly. And there you go. So we're just going to let that sit, keep an eye on it. Make sure and touch the sides of the molds a few times within the next 30 minutes or so. If you find that it's getting really hot, you're going to need to stick it in the freezer. You don't want to get too hot, otherwise it's going to bubble up, crack, and your soap's going to go everywhere and not look as pretty. Alright, all the extra soap is in the other mold, and you usually let your soap sit for anywhere from 12 to 48 hours depending on your final temperature and the state of trace that you were at. I will probably pull these out of the mold first thing in the morning. It's about 4 o'clock here, so I'll pull this out about 5 or 6 in the morning, and if it's solid enough and I don't think it'll smush, I'll go ahead and cut it, and I will see you then. Good morning, everybody. It's tomorrow, and I pulled the soap out of the mold this morning. Look how pretty those colors turned out. The designs on the top are pretty. It smells really good. This was the lavender and peach puree one that we did together yesterday. And then this was the other batch. This was an egg and sugar soap. And these guys are going to take anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks to cure. Just more patience. And they should be ready in time for Christmas. So there you go. That is homemade cold processed soap using goat's milk and other goodies for the garden. Y'all have a great day.